Hello and welcome to the Arise interview. 60 glorious minutes of multifaceted discussion where we speak to the newsmakers as well as ordinary people doing extraordinary things, and we feature the voices at the heart of the stories. I'm Charles Anyegolu. Coming up in the next hour, the opportunities for plus-size models are greater today than ever before, thanks to the pioneering efforts of people like the London-based curvy model Karina Martinez, known popularly as Miss K. Long before the industry woke up to the fact that size shouldn't really matter for fashion, Miss K was working her curves into an exciting, successful career and inspiring lots of women from Africa, Europe, and the Americas to do the same. As one magazine put it, she is most definitely one plus-size model to watch, apart from the fact that she is, of course, a truly beautiful and multi-talented woman. The marvelous Miss K, model, singer, actress, fashion designer, and humanitarian, in a moment. Now, for many years, women of average height weighing over 50 kilograms didn't fit the image or the aesthetics of what a model should look like. But one determined woman named Karina Martinez, known popularly as Miss K, proved that one doesn't have to be slim to be beautiful. After trying her hand at a number of ventures and attending fashion school, she found her calling in plus-size modeling. But at first it was a struggle as she battled against the weight restrictions of the industry and watched other aspiring models using unhealthy methods in an attempt to lose weight, sometimes forcing themselves to vomit. But Miss K wouldn't be daunted, and when it didn't seem to be paying off in the UK, she went as far afield as Africa, the rest of Europe, and the Americas. By 2010, she was gracing magazine covers, and 2 years later became the face of MTN in Nigeria. As her modeling career took off, she began appearing in music videos and on catwalks in the US, the UK, and in Africa. Today, she's recognized as one of the 100 most inspirational women in the world. Well, in a moment, we'll cross over to our London studios to speak with Miss K. But first, here she is in all her modeling glory, accompanied by this song that she performed herself, titled Stand Up for Africa.
It's gotta change, yeah. It's gotta change. We've got to stand up for Africa. 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 There's so much richness in this place, from mango trees to sugar cane, from safari to rainforest, nothing we cannot manifest.
That's the brilliant Miss K, and I'm delighted to say that the multi-talented plus-size model Karina Martinez, known internationally as Miss K, joins me now from our studios in London. Miss K, absolutely delighted to have you in the studio. This has been a long time coming, and we're very, very privileged to have your presence with us here on the Arise interview. And just looking at your repertoire there, I mean, you've worn many professional hats. You're a singer, you're a fashionista, you're a brand ambassador, you're an actress, you're a humanitarian. But many people in the UK, it is fair to say, and in Nigeria, will probably know you more as a body activist, a plus-size model, and the face of MTN, the phone company, for about a year or so. Is that a fair characterization?
Well, first and foremost, I want to say thank you for having me, Charles. It's a pleasure being here today. Indeed, it has been a long time coming. And sure, a few people out there do know me as someone who's been pushing out the agenda for bigger women out there for close to a decade now, and it's been a journey. It's been something really, really, I would say, surprising to me on how far it has come and how consistent I've been with it. So I'm really happy with my journey so far. I can't express how happy I am and happy of how far it has taken me.
Well, I have to say that I can see that happiness radiating from you. I mean, you've got this aura that is really very, very attractive, apart from the fact that you clearly are a beautiful woman. And of course, a body activist, which is what you're sometimes known as, means that you were standing up for curvy women, plus size women, when no one would use them as models. And you managed to break through all that to grace the covers of many sort of magazines. How tough was that experience?
Well, first of all, thank you for the compliments. Anybody that do give me compliments over my beauty, I'm always appreciative of such. To be honest with you, I really think that I personally, as a character, I've never been more determined than ever to literally speak my truth when it came to pushing, women in every capacity in front of the camera. I think many women out there who are whether petite of size or bigger of size still have something to offer because they're part of a society. And I'm all about inclusivity and diversity. So therefore, me pushing the agenda of representing myself for other women out there since 2007, let's mark the date, it has not been an easy journey, and I have taken a lot of no for answers. I have taken a lot of closed doors, and I didn't give up. I was very determined to showcase what I had to prove, what I could represent, and it has literally, literally come through. And I'm so grateful to all the effort I've put in, because I was able to indeed make my way through cover magazines and represent brands, and moreover do billboards for this major telecommunication company in Nigeria, which was somewhat a major to my career. So yes, I'm very grateful to all of this.
And Miss Kay, when did you make the decision that rather than worry about losing weight and getting stick thin, as we see a lot of models, the typical classic model look, which is the way most models are sort of made to look, that when did you make the decision that you were simply going to remain a plus size and still aim to be a top model?
Well, to be honest, I was born a big baby. I was born a curvy girl, and I think it has remained through my entire life. And I just had to accept who I was, and I think that was the first step before I could represent anybody else out there, which actually wasn't my main goal. I just wanted to represent me and feel good within me, and literally be comfortable within my own skin. And once that radiated through the lens, then I guess eventually, I was somehow, somewhat the person that became the spokesperson for many others.
So, I mean, having gone through all of this, just tell us briefly how the industry reacted when you started pushing your body activism and started trying to emphasize the fact that you were not going to lose weight, and started inspiring other women not to lose weight, but at the same time aspire to be top models.
Well, to be honest with you, can I say there's nothing wrong with losing weight, okay? Whether you might be slimmer, you might want to lose weight. Whether you might be bigger, you might want to lose weight. Losing weight is all about keeping an healthy lifestyle and literally, making sure you have a better health for it. Now, in regards to people's reaction, to be honest with you, my entire mindset has never been set on anybody's thought regarding my weight. I mean, ideally, what mattered was to make sure that I could feel comfortable within myself. That's primarily the number one thing. Now, my weight has never been an issue for myself. So for some reason, why should it be an issue to others? If I'm feeling comfortable within my own skin, whether I want to lose weight or not, I don't think that should be anybody's business in some kind of way, with all due respect. So basically, me losing weight or not losing weight was still fine in order for me to represent a bigger community out there. Because I have lost weight along the journey of those past 9 years within the industry, and I have put weight on, but still, I still did what I did and, represented myself the best that I could.
Well, we're going to be taking a short break in a minute, but just before we do take that break, having now gone through, apart the challenge of presenting yourself, the way you are, which, as I said, looks brilliant, by the way, and in fact, a lot of people in Africa prefer plus-size women. Let's be honest. The stick-thin image seems to be something that is more prevalent in the West. But having now gone through that and been successful at being a model, do you think size should matter for fashion?
At this day and age, I truly don't believe, now that barriers have been broken, I truly don't believe that size does matter, because magazines and fashion shows and so forth try to be as, I would say, inclusive as they can. They still have a lot of efforts to do, I believe, but I think now it's coming through a lot more, and it has been since 2014, 15, it has really started coming up slowly but surely, but literally, to be honest with you, I think it's something people from Africa are comfortable with, because I think in the Caribbean and in Africa and in the Latino countries, we have more tendency to also have curvier people. And so that is the same thing in the States, in America. But the thing is, I think they're more acceptable towards it. I think that's the difference.
Right. So there is the sense that the world is more accepting now of that situation. But you're absolutely right. In Africa, nobody, it's always been traditional that the preference seems to be that of, women who are slightly more curvy than the sort of the stick-thin one. We're going to be taking a break very shortly, but a lot of people have already been asking, like, where do you come from? And the fact that you look so exotic and beautiful. We'll talk about that when we come back. Stay with us. You're watching The Arise interview. Plenty more still ahead as we continue our chat with the multi-talented London-based plus-size model Karina Martinez, aka Miss K. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Arise interview, where we speak to the newsmakers as well as ordinary people doing extraordinary things around the world and featuring the voices at the heart of the stories. I'm Charles Aniagolu. Now, within the last 5 years or so, my guest today, Karina Martinez, known professionally as Miss K, has quickly become one of Britain's most popular international faces. She took to the catwalk as a plus-size model at a time when many, like herself, would not have had the confidence to approach the job, and there weren't that many agencies that would have considered taking on anyone weighing more than 50 kilograms. But undaunted, Miss K took over management of her own career, pushing forth with her conviction that she is a large, beautiful woman and was perfectly happy to remain so. It had a knock-on effect, influencing many girls at a time when plus-size modeling was fairly new and many were too shy to show off their ample curves. Over the years, she's become increasingly popular both in and out of the UK. Here she is shooting part of her popular annual calendar in Makoko, a poor suburb of Lagos, Nigeria.
You come help me, Abby?
Hey, wait.
Careful, careful, Michael. Michael, calm down. Why you do? Why we don't? There's another boat underneath, right?
There's one boat here.
And that's why it's talking, slowing down. Antenna. Go. Go where? Come. Say thank you for today. Thank you.
That's a little snippet there of Miss K filming in the Lagos suburb of Makoko there in Nigeria, and the multi-talented London-based plus-size model Karina Martinez, aka Miss K, is still with me from our London studios. Thank you very much indeed, Miss K, for staying with us. And we were looking there at you shooting your calendar in Makoko. Your calendar, of course, very popular. I mean, I've seen it sold out year after year in the UK and beyond. But of course, Makoko is a very deprived, water-based community in Lagos. Why did you choose to shoot part of your calendar there?
Well, first and foremost, I actually want to point out that indeed, I do modeling, and I try to, I try to remove the word plus size model because I am a model to begin with. I think the plus sizing, it's an addition that has been added for the modeling community. However, I'm a model, point blank period, and I happen to represent women with curves. But before this, I actually began as an artist from the music industry. Now, moving forward to the calendars, I have come up with the idea since 2010 when I've begun working on photo shoots with my photographer. And literally, we thought, you know what, why not try pushing out there some of the wonderful pictures that we had. And I thought it'd be good to represent each and every year various countries as time went on. And each and every time I traveled, I thought, you know what? Those places are so beautiful, we might as well capture them. And that's what we did. And it started also with Nigeria in 2013. And just showing the clip you've just seen, I can see how long my hair has grown. But it's such a pleasure, visiting those places, because you get to discover new people, new cultures. And Makoko Village was such a beautiful place to watch and to be at. And the kids were wonderful to welcome me. And so was the village chief out there, and I had the best of time.
Right, well, those are clearly beautiful pictures, and you seem to be having fun interacting with the locals, and just sort of, having a jolly good time on your canoe there. Now, let's talk a little bit about yourself and your background, a bit of biography there. You come from a long line, from what I've read about you, of strong women in your family. Your mother is Spanish and your father is Caribbean. How much has that helped to shape the person that you are today and your perspective in life?
Well, can I just say something? My father is a strong Afro-Caribbean man. Regardless, our Caribbeans want to take it when I say this. We are Africans, we come from Africa, we all come from the motherland, and we were just exported, and I am here to return. So please bear in mind that I am definitely from the Afro-Caribbean lineage, and having a mother who's Latina, who's Spanish of heritage, is a beautiful thing, because I feel I was able to literally merge those strong worlds together, and that is what has been my strength.
Right, and what sort of perspective has that given you because it means that essentially you're apart from the fact that, just listening to you talk, you're clearly very international, but also your DNA is international, and that's given you a much broader perspective, perhaps made it easier for you to move between different cultures and so on.
Indeed, I think my mom is such a big traveler. As I'm talking to you, she's literally off to Dominican Republic, so I personally believe the traveling aspect as being a major thing for me, and I've incorporated it myself in my own lifestyle. And anyway, from a young age, my mother would take me on trips, and so did my father. So I never had a problem with the traveling aspect of things. In regards to strengthening my character, my mom, whether she's Latina or not, as a strong woman, she's been able to literally push me in a sense, and probably without knowing, in a sense that observing her growing up and literally for herself, going for anything she wanted to achieve and making it happen, that has been a major turning point for my own career and for my own personality. I think I have been very determined and consistent because of it. And so did my dad. My dad is a strong man who's achieved great things. They both retired at this point, still very much alive and strong and healthy. And I'm grateful for the both of them. And I'm still happy. And all I can say is that their strength is what has made who I am today.
Well, that's a very nice, biography there, brief biography. But moving forward, beyond your immediate sort of background, your parents and so on, who you clearly admire very much, let's talk about your first foray into the entertainment world, and that was through fashion school, if I understand it correctly. How much did that liberate you and inspire some of the fashion things that you create today? Because most people don't realize that you're in many ways a fashionista, a dressmaker, a trend setter in that direction.
Well, thank you once again for the compliment. I'm ever so grateful. Yes, I studied in the Caribbean when I was younger, then went off to Paris to major fashion schools. I did 5 years in fashion design within the industry. I made sure that I literally worked hard to find out a lot more because I was very much driven by the music aspect of the entertainment industry, but I always wanted to make sure I had something to fall back on. And moreover, my mom was a major support in this because I remember initially I wanted to go to a school and learn literature. That was what I wanted to do, poetry, and I felt, okay, I'm a good speaker, why not? And my mom said, do you know what? You're very good at fashion and you're good at dressing up your Barbies and you're good with colors. So you sure you don't want to try the fashion industry? And I actually did, and I'm grateful for it. And I believe, truly, the gifts that I have in regards to dressing up or to patching colors together, this was initially incorporated in me. Whether I'd done the fashion school or not, I think that would have made a change. The fashion school only enabled me to push forward those gifts and literally enabled me to get to have a lot more knowledge within the industry and find out a lot more what it's like behind the scenes, and enable me to also envision what it's like to probably think of having a fashion line for yourself and so forth.
And I was actually just looking forward to seeing some pictures of you there, because we've got a lot of pictures which show a lot of you modeling, and clearly some of the things that you model, the clothes that you model, were actually designed by yourself. So that's very, very impressive. What I want to do, because I don't want you to start talking and then I'm going to have to interrupt you. We've got less than a minute to go, and I would like to talk when we come back about what you did after fashion school, and how much presumably that gave you greater confidence to go full speed into the entertainment industry. And of course, we'll talk a bit more about your life, your biography, something I'm curious about, because I remember you and I talked about this some time ago, whether or not religion plays a big part in your life. But stay with us, Miss Kay. You're watching the Arise interview. Plenty more still ahead, including more of our chat with the multi-talented model Karina Martinez, known internationally as Miss Kay. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Arise interview, where we speak to the newsmakers as well as ordinary people doing extraordinary things around the world and featuring the voices at the heart of the stories. I'm Charles Aniagolu. Now, Karina Martinez, or Miss K, who is my guest today, isn't just a model who helped to force open doors and to inspire many other curvy women to follow in her footsteps. She's also a singer, songwriter, and an actress, as well as a humanitarian. Born to a Spanish mother and a Caribbean father, she's been influenced by the cultures of the Latin world and the Caribbean, but also of Europe, producing and singing songs tinged with salsa, hip-hop, rock and roll, gospel, and calypso. More recently, she's been getting into African sounds and has appeared in videos with Two-Face Idibia and other African stars. As her relationship with Nigeria grew, she was contracted by the communications giant MTN to appear in a massive advertising campaign, and she flew to Nigeria to model for the brand, appearing for a year on billboards, calendars, scratch cards, magazines, and the press across Nigeria. Well, in a moment, we'll return to our London studios to speak some more with Miss Gay. But first, here she is doing an acoustic set for a water charity.
I heard she had to walk a few kilometers just to get a little drinkable water. Drop, drop, water drop, say, just to get a little drinkable water. Drop, drop, water drop. No, 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 that's so wrong. 2016, it's gotta change. 2017, it's gotta change. Today, let's make a change. I say, let's make a change. Drop, drop, water drop, say. Drop, drop, water drop. No, 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 that's so wrong. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I quite like that song, very soothing. That's the Miss K there. And of course, the multi-talented London-based model, Karina Martinez, aka Miss K, is still with me from our London studios. Beautiful music, very soothing. Thank you for staying with us, Miss K. And let's continue talking about your biography there. Because after fashion school, presumably that gave you, as we said before we went on break, greater confidence to go full speed ahead into the entertainment industry.
Indeed it has, but mainly what I did is I did focus back into the music, because music was my first love at heart, and I was able to be given opportunities to open up for major American hip-hop bands such as The Roots back in the days, and basically did much more, and came to the UK to literally push my career, and that's what I've done, literally.
And, well, I have to say that that appears to have worked for you, because, I mean, you've put in a lot of hard work over the years, and it seems to have paid off, because recently you were given an honorary award on International Women's Day. Apparently you're seen as one of the 100 most inspirational women in the world today. Tell us about that.
Well, I was so ever honored to have such a title given to me on International Women's Day. I think it was a beautiful surprise, all honored by Dr. Pauline Long, who has given me the opportunity to be honored on the Hall of Fame of a new platform, WAW, which is Women Appreciating Women.
And I mean, what is it that you did that earned you the title of the award of one of the 100 most inspirational women in the world?
Well, I'd like to believe that my effort throughout the years has been something that's somewhat made a difference amongst the communities. And I just would like to also believe that literally activating my dreams and showcasing what I've been envisioning, not just for myself, but for others, and making it happen has been part of what has probably, I would say, encouraged Dr. Pauline Long to offer me such title.
And we talked about this briefly before we, went on break. I mean, personally, it doesn't really matter that much to me, but you had mentioned this some time ago when I was having a chat with you over the phone. You talked about religion and the fact that the relationship you have with it. Did it play a big part in your life? Does it play a big part in your life?
I wouldn't say religion does. I think the word spirituality comes to mind. I am somebody who's very spiritual. I believe in the highest for sure. I have a family. My entire family is very spiritual from the lineage of my grandmothers. And I think having the belief of knowing that I can have faith in the greatest good of what's about to happen in my life for the future, I think it's a beautiful mindset to have. Having faith, it's one thing, but literally walking into the path of your divine destiny, it's another. And not everybody has the courage to do this. And in order for you to get to that level and literally push yourself forward, I believe that you need to be connected emotionally to the highest, and from the soul, from the deep down your soul, to understand that, okay, I am on this earth for a purpose. It's up to me, through all the tasks that has been given to me through my life path, to literally find out what this purpose is and push my path forward, again with the divine help of the highest.
Well, you'd fit right in here in Nigeria, if I might say so myself. But talking about Nigeria, let's talk about your relationship with this country, which has been going on now for a number of years. How did that come about?
Well, like you said earlier, I was offered the opportunity to come and model for one of your major telecommunication companies. So I did fly down and I did take the opportunity. I made sure that beforehand I inquired about the country, but definitely it's something that I've created friends along the years in Nigeria, and I feel like Nigeria is part of me. I feel like I'm Nigerian somehow, somewhat. Maybe, who knows, from my lineage, but I feel very much at home when I'm in Lagos, when I'm in Abuja, whether I'm in Kanu or whether I'm in, I don't know, wherever I went in Nigeria. I mean, it's been something that has been life-changing for me. And somewhat, I believe that there's a saying, they say in America, if you make it in America, you can make it anywhere. I think this saying is wrong. I think if you make it in Africa, and moreover in Nigeria, you can make it anywhere. Because Nigeria has been such a challenge for me to get to know about the culture, the people, the food, the language. I just had to merge myself into it without a shadow of a doubt. It is something that tremendously helped me become who I am today, for the better.
Well, that's very interesting, because, I mean, I was going to ask you when it was that you broke through, because you talked about if you can make it in Nigeria, you can make it anywhere. And I promise you a lot of people would agree with you saying that. It is a challenging place to go. But you became the face of MTN, as you said, the phone company here in Nigeria. You appeared in their adverts and billboards all over the country. Was that the break? Was that how you broke through as far as entertainment in Nigeria is concerned?
I wouldn't say that it was. I think it was part of it. Me modeling for them was part of it. I would say that each and every opportunity that I was given please understand, I created those opportunities. I didn't wait for opportunities to come to me. I made sure I was deep in there, trying my best to connect with the right people. And I guess, like I said, my destiny was faith out that I literally encountered the right people at the right time on my path. But I don't think my major campaign for MTN, me modeling for them, was one of the breakthrough. It was part of it, but it wasn't the breakthrough. I think my humanitarian work has been major in Africa, whether it's been in Uganda, whether it's been in Nigeria, whether it's been in other countries. And I think majorly in Nigeria, it's been something people have noticed me for. My humanitarian work is something that has literally helped me push and break barriers across the borders.
Well, we'll talk about your humanitarian work after the next break. But you've also, we're looking at pictures there that you've also attended the Arise Fashion Week. Of course, Arise Fashion Week connected to Arise Television. And you met the chairman, Nduka Obegbuna. I mean, I saw a photograph of both of you there. Clearly, you look prettier than he does, but he seemed to be enjoying having you around. So lots of activity for you in Nigeria.
Well, to be honest, once again, I mean, your chairman was a lovely gentleman, still is, I'm sure. I was invited at the Rise Festival, and I was welcomed really warmly, and I loved it. However, again, I didn't just meet your chairman there. I'd come across your chairman a while before this because I was bold enough to approach him and talk to him in regards to a project I had in mind and I had envisioned to do in Africa. And he was very supportive, very, very lovely, and definitely, I mean, inviting me at the Arise fashion show was just an ultimate honor, so I had to attend.
Well, I think we're very honored that you attended, and it would have been brilliant to have you there. Those pictures immortalizing your presence there forever. And as I said, when we come back, I'd like to talk to you about a lot of things, because there are a lot of political things taking place in the UK at the moment. Want to get your sense of what you think of all those things. But stay with us. You're watching the Arise interview. Plenty more still ahead, including more of our chat with the multi-talented model Karina Martinez, known internationally as Miss Gay. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Arise interview, where we speak to the newsmakers as well as ordinary people doing extraordinary things around the world and featuring the voices at the heart of the stories. I'm Charles Anyagolu. Now, she's a plus-size model, proud to show off her ample curves. But though that to a large extent has defined her career, that's not all Karina Teresa Martinez, known popularly as Miss K, is all about. Beyond the fact that she's a singer, songwriter and actress, she's also a dedicated activist and a devoted humanitarian, bringing her tremendous passion to charity work and to the idea of giving back and making a difference. She's the international spokesperson and brand ambassador for several charities and has helped to raise awareness and funds for various causes, many of them in Africa and the UK, including her Stand Up for Africa project and her Creative Kick 2019 Youth Summit taking place in London this month. And the multi-talented model and humanitarian Karina Teresa Martinez, known internationally as Miss K, is still with me from our London studios. Thank you for staying with us. We're going to talk about your humanitarian work in a minute, but just before that, there's a lot of political stuff going on in the UK at the moment where you live. You are very cosmopolitan, we've already said that, but I mean, what do you make of all the divisions in Britain around Brexit?
Well, to be honest with you, I'd rather not really state much on the political perspective because there's so much being said, and until it's actually closed down and literally dealt with the politician itself, I'd rather not get myself involved with it.
Without over-egging the point or over-pushing it, I mean, would you say that you're a Leave person, a Brexiteer, or a Remainer, somebody who believes in remaining in the European Union? I mean, do you think Britain should leave the EU or stay in it? It's a perfectly normal thing for most people to have an opinion on because it's something that's going to affect their lives for many, many years to come.
Sure, I personally, I can state my opinion, it's not an issue, but regardless, I mean, the lawmakers are going to make their they are going to take their decisions, whether I have my say or not. So do I believe in remaining? Definitely. I think having all the European countries connected to the UK, I think it's literally has made a tremendous difference along the years, and why not continue on that path? But again, like I said, my opinion, as much as I want to speak it out, will not make any difference amongst the lawmakers. So there's many of us voting out there who have taken the time to vote, and the results have shown people want to remain, people want to stay, and some of them wants to leave. So regardless, let's just see what's going to happen within the next couple of years or so.
Okay, well, let's talk about something that you do want to talk about, and that is what you're doing now and what you're going to be doing going forward. A lot of humanitarian work still on the horizon for you, is that right?
Yes, you're totally right on this, definitely.
Tell us about some of the things that you're doing now, then.
Well, I'm actually presently working on a project, and I think that's an exclusive live on air because not really much people are aware of what's going on behind the scenes. But basically, we're coming up with a project called Creative Kick. From the concept to the literally initializing, putting it together with my team, we've done this within, I would say, 6 weeks, and it's actually taking place next Saturday. And this project mainly is to push forward the creative industry and moreover to celebrate the youth on their special day, International Youth Day, which is basically part of the United Nations SDG Goal 4.
And that is going to be taking place in the UK, but is that against an international backdrop?
Sorry, I didn't quite get this. Say that again?
I said that's going to be taking place in London, is it? But I'm wondering if the content of it is against an international backdrop. In other words, are there people from all over the world taking part in it?
Yes, yes. Well, you know what it is? We are welcoming everybody to literally tune in and check our website, creativekick.com. It's all about empowering the youth within the age of 16 and 25. And it is taking place in London. We have wonderful panelists that are going to come and speak. I've had major supporters from the media industry. Who have come forward and supported us, major supporters also from the entertainment industry itself, of others, of designers donating clothing and film festivals donating tickets for the event to take place. And the UK Nollywood Festival has been really, really generous with their tickets. They're coming on board also. So we have major surprises coming through. I can actually announce today that the Deputy Mayor of Lambeth, Philip Normal, will also be part of the event. So I look forward to having so many people on board. I have a Nigerian mayor, which is Kate, I call her Auntie Kate, but to the world, she's Mayor Kate Anolu. She's been a major supporter and literally supports every project that I get involved in when it comes to humanitarian, and moreover, when it's something to do with education and the youth.
And I want to, well, that's very impressive, obviously, and we will encourage you to keep doing humanitarian work. I think there's nothing more fulfilling than giving back to society and to the world. But you're also expecting, well, with the world is expecting a new book from you. Tell us about the book and when it's due out.
Oh, the major book. Well, indeed, the book, it's something that has been brewing for some time. We've put it together, my team and I again. I can't do everything on my own. I've got to have the support and also the guidance, of people who actually know their business, because I have no clue when it comes to books. This is going to literally be my first book out. But again, today I'm dropping an exclusive because this book was meant to be out this summer, but we've decided to actually push it a little more. That's the second time I'm pushing it forward because we've come up with major ideas around the book. And I want it to be more than just a book, because this book, it's entitled Powerful Beauty for a reason. And there's major powerful things that are attached to this book that we want to bring along to the community. So we are delaying it for a very good purpose, but eventually it's going to come out. So please, to all my viewers out there, be patient. Something good is coming for sure.
Well, we all look forward to it. But what about career-wise, Miss Kay? Will you still be modeling, acting, singing, looking for a new inspiration?
Oh, definitely. Oh, this career is literally part of me. I have embodied this career since the tender age of 13. So singing is part of what I do. Obviously, I've gotten away from it for a bit because obviously I would say the fashion industry has taken over for a minute, but I definitely want to push the music back forward into my path. I moreover want to also push the humanitarian agenda, the book. Definitely you will see me model a lot more. And for sure, I want to keep pushing also the agenda of my calendar, which has been going on for 9 years so far. And that's obviously taking me to model for each and every pictures that you see within the calendar. And I want to actually make sure it's going to be a very good calendar for the 10th anniversary of this calendar. So let's just see what the future holds for me. But I'm not quitting from this industry anytime soon. I think my gifts are there for the world to see, and it would be a shame for me to literally shy away from it because they're divinely given gifts, and I want to make sure, I share them with the world.
Well, Miss Kay, we've got literally 30 seconds left, so if you could keep this answer reasonably brief. But there are people in the studio who looking at you, you're on a big screen here in the studio, looking very attractive and very pretty, and somebody's wondering whether what about relationships in your life? I mean, if I might be so bold as to voice their question, how central to your life is that? Are you married, single, taken, about to be taken?
Well, this is not a 30-second subject, I would say. And no, I don't have a ring yet, but I believe my Prince Charming is on his way. I'm literally, I think a lot of people do wonder if I am taken or not. I am happily able to say that I am single indeed. And I guess my Prince Charming is on his way. My king is on his way. At this point, we all know that I am not going to literally settle for anybody who does not reflect my wants, my needs, and my desires.
Okay, I'm going to have to jump in there because that's longer than 30 seconds, but the amazing, multi-talented Karina Teresa Martinez, known as Miss K, thank you very much indeed. That's it for this edition of the Arise interview. Join us again for a fresh edition tomorrow from me and the entire team here in Abuja and London. Bye-bye, and thank you for watching.